welcome to my review of the Endeaver arc. I moved a little bit because I'm gonna try to multitask a little bit while trying to get some of my chores done. So just in case you're gonna be wondering what I'm doing with my hands, I'm just like going through some old CDs and DVDs that I want to get rid of and just seeing that everything is in good condition so that I can sell them. Just if your curiosity is about to kill you. But we're going to talk about the Endeaver arc. Just disclaimer, I have only read through it once. That was when it was coming out, so it's been a little while and I haven't reread a lot of things, only like select panels and stuff. But I do have a lot of thoughts because it's Endeaver and all that. The first thing I think I'm going to talk a lot about like the general opinions that I've seen and how I think some of those opinions are wrong. I mean, opinions can't be wrong, but I just think like sometimes when things come from like, you know, people make the wrong analysis and then base stuff around your opinions rather than, I mean, you can have your opinion, you can hate it, you can love this arc, that's fair, it's okay. Because I'm going to just start with the main complaint that I've seen, which is that it's Endeaver, he doesn't deserve a redemption arc, and why did we redeem him, blah blah blah. And that's basically like the majority of people I've seen talking about this is like, this was the Endeaver redemption arc, whether you like that or not. And I disagree. I don't think this is a redemption arc, because a thing that I really hate about the anime community, if you can like very broadly say it like that, is that we tend to call everything a redemption arc when really it's just a character arc. I more or less had the same issue with the Whole Cake Island arc, where everyone was like, oh, this is Scientist redemption arc. I'm like, redemption from what? What did he ever do wrong? Like, just because he hasn't had a good fight does not mean that he needed a redemption arc. And with Endeaver, he has a lot that he needs to be, well, you can discuss whether or not you want him to be redeemed for it, but there's definitely a lot he's done wrong. That's not the point of discussion. I'm just like, this arc didn't redeem him at all, but I still really love it. Because for me, a redemption means that you recognize the things you've done wrong, you work on like whatever you need to work through, and you become a better person, and you say you're sorry, and you do like, there's like a whole process of things for you to get from doing something wrong and to being redeemed. And Endeaver did like step 1 and step 2 in this arc. Like, he acknowledged that he did something really bad and he apologized for it, but he also said, like, he literally said by the end of it that just because he realized he did something wrong and because he apologized does not mean that made up for it. Doesn't mean that every bad thing that has come of it is fixed now just because he realized he was being a really bad dad. So I that was what I wanted to point out first. Another thing that really struck me about this arc was, again, it wasn't necessarily just an arc about Endeaver, it was an arc about perspective for me. Because what we know of Endeaver is 99% of what we know about him from Todoroki. And I'm not saying that Todoroki does not have a reason to hate him, nor that Todoroki is in any way like exaggerating when it comes to like the things that his father did to him. But we are colored a lot by the fact that we see the story of Endeaver through the person that he abused. And obviously I'm not gonna say Endeavor's not a bad guy. That's not what I'm saying. I feel like I'm doing this very much like when I talk about Boku, where I'm saying it's not like I don't think that Boku has flaws and all that. I'm just saying, look at it from another perspective. Because what is really interesting about this arc is that we have the entire Todoroki family, and I'm gonna try to keep, like, I'm gonna try to call our Todoroki for Shoto just to not make it all very confusing. But we know Shoto's story. We know what Endeaver did to him. We knew everything about that. So that's like the perspective we've always had of him, and that has colored our perspective of Endeaver throughout the entire series. But we're now in a situation where we get the perspective of some of his other children, so not necessarily just like people who liked him, but people who have also like suffered under him in a different way than Shoto, because Shoto was quite physically abused by, you know, we know the story. But his other kids, they were completely neglected by him. They were treated differently because they didn't have these great quirks that Shoto had. I'm sorry. And I really liked how we see how Fuyu and Natsu, how different they, I'm aware that her name is Fuyumi, but like I'm gonna call her Fuyu because it's really cute that they're called after the seasons. It's really interesting to see like the different perspectives between Fuyu and Natsu, because Natsu is hell-bent on not forgiving him, not even giving him a chance, which fair enough, I wouldn't either. But but Fuyu really just wants like everyone to be happy. She doesn't like conflict. She's very like, she's always had this dream of a big happy family, and she never got it because everything went wrong. And that's not her fault, and it's not her fault that she was just given really bad dad. But I really like that because we see different perspectives, and we see the perspective of the mom as well, because she's, except for Shoto, she's probably the one who suffered the most because of Endeaver, yet she seemed very ready to forgive him, which should speak to the fact that they're definitely, like, again, not saying Endeaver is not bad, just saying he's not 100% bad, because what Horikoshi is really good at doing is writing great characters, people who have both good and bad in them. That's why his villains are 99% of the time very compelling, and it's why his protagonists are really interesting as well, because they have lots of really flaws. They have flaws. They're very flawed characters. I cannot open the CD. Oh, there we go. Oh, shoot. I forgot to check all of them for scratches. Well, okay. So I really like that we got this perspective. We also got it from the fans, as I mentioned before. So we had like that boy who really liked him but didn't want to get his autograph because Endeaver wasn't that kind of guy, and when Endeaver then was like, do you want an autograph? He was like, no, that's not the kind of guy you are. And you have people who dislike him and all that. So it was a really great arc about perspective and how Endeaver has lots of different sides to him. And while he's definitely done something bad, there's a reason why he's still the number 2 hero, because just having lots of villain arrests wouldn't do it for me, I think. There has to be something that is likable, even if he's covering up like all the things about himself that are not bad. I think the things that are good about him should still be genuine. So that's just my little bit of note on that. And it was also really like, because we see that Todoroki, we see that Shoto still cares about him, because he was definitely worried when Endeaver fight was broadcasted on TV, but we still see that when he interacts with him, he's still like very cold. Like that scene where he's eating the soba, and he's just like, that's a nasty scar. That's still one of my favorite panels of like just straight face Todoroki. Sorry, Shoto. I'm just so used to calling him Todoroki. So yeah, other than that, if we go a little bit away from Endeaver, even though it was his arc, we get the new character of Hawks. And I'm really sad that I did not get to do weekly reviews of this, purely because you would have seen my, how can you say it, the development of my likeness towards Hawks, because when he was first introduced, he was like everyone's new favorite character, and I was like, I don't like this guy. I felt like, I was like, there's something he kind of rubs me the wrong way, and I just was not a big fan of him. He seemed a little like, I didn't know where to place his character. And then we got the reveal. Well, first we got the reveal that he was working with the League of Villains, and I was like, damn, that's so nice, because then I feel like the fact that I didn't like him was very like, I felt verified because he was bad. And then we got like 2 panels later, oh no, he's a double agent, and I was like, damn, now I have to like him, I guess. Because that for me, that when we learned that he was a double agent, that's like, damn, okay, now I like him. That was the turning point for me, because I am a sucker for stuff like that, like just double agent shit. That's really nice. And I really loved, like, one of my favorite panels of Hawks is where we see him as a child with his little Endeaver toy. I thought that was really cute and cool and just like nice to see. So yeah, I ended up coming around to him, but you would have seen my entire journey of not liking him and probably trying to convince you why you shouldn't like him as well. But yeah, Hawks, he was super interesting. I really loved his quirk, and I really loved the limitations of it, and I just loved how he used it. it was really great. What on earth is this? Well, anyway, I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted. Other than just the Endeaver stuff, which I'll probably come back to as soon as I remember what else I have to say, we have some of the Nomu things going on here, and just the like League of Villains moves and stuff like that. Oh, there are 2 cities in here. Oh well. We don't really know much because a lot of it was just focused on Endeaver and Hawks and just Hawks as a character and stuff. What? This is not the CD. Okay. Well. What was I talking about? The League of Villains. We didn't see as much of them in this arc that I really wanted to. I wanted to see what they were up to, but you know, didn't really happen much. We saw Dabi, and I feel like at this point, like if there was any doubt that he was the missing Todoroki sibling, it's like 99% confirmed now. Because the fact that I think he was the only League of Villain character that was really in this arc. And that was also the arc where they started talking about, I already forgot what his name was, his new name, like Toya or something. Yeah, anyway, we got his real name, and we got like the little confirmation that they were missing a sibling who's no longer there for whatever reason. I wonder what the official story about that is, because they might think like he's dead, or he just like ran away from home or something. So I'm quite curious as to what, isn't his name Toya or something like that? I don't know if I can sell this. But yeah, I think that's pretty much confirmed now. And it's also like, yeah. I just, because it makes everything really interesting that we have like that story like line going on with the brother there. Because I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or whatever, but I really enjoy Endeavor's character. I think he's very interesting now that he's the #1 hero, because he clearly does not like it. We know that he didn't like how he got to the #1 spot, because the whole thing for him was to beat All Might and, you know, not rise to #1 just because All Might retired. I'm really interested in seeing more of Endeavor's past, because there's one of the volumes, I could pull it down because it's right here, but there's one of the volumes where Horikoshi is like, Endeavor's a really unlikable guy or something, but I hope to show you in the future why he's like that. And I feel like while there was a little bit of that in this arc, like with his, I don't know if you can call it past, but you definitely see more of his motivation and stuff, but I feel like this isn't really satisfying for me when it comes to Endeavor. I want to see more of what made him into the person he is. So I feel like Horikoshi still has some things coming. Other than that, we also had like the top 10 heroes, and I should probably have pulled up a list of who they were. But some of the most memorable was, and I'm gonna be really, just apologize in advance here, I do not remember their names. Except for like the characters that are well established. But we have Bunny Girl, who I really love because she's not really, as a person who is a bunny, based on Bunny, she's not cute, she's very buff, but she's lesbian, probably. She's just really cool design. I really like her so far. We've seen a little bit of her. She was also there during the arc, shortly. We have the dishwasher person, this dishwasher, another washing machine, something that washes, machine that washes. Don't know what to think about that. Still have Best Eunice up there. Of course, Hawks and Endeavor. Yeah, another one thing that really made me happy was that we got the Wild Wild Pussycats, and we got the confirmation that they as a group have won like a spot, like they were number 42 or something. Like it's not every single hero in that group that gets like a thing on the list. It's like you can, it's not like a contest where you enter as a group, but it's like, you know, you're listed as a group or a duo or whatever. So that just makes me very confident in the fact that we're gonna have the one to do at the #1 one and duo as Deku and Bakugo, obviously. Because that for me is, again, where I've said this many times before, but that's where I want the story to be headed, where we, like, at the very end we get the Wonder Duo as our top heroes, because that's both of their goals, and I don't see the series ending with only one of them achieving that goal. So yeah, that just made me very happy to get that confirmation that you're counted as what you work with or whatever. Yeah. What else happened in the arc? Probably a couple of things. This is what happens when I haven't read the arc in a long time. And again, because mostly what I take away from arcs is like character development and just character stuff. I talked about this in the review I did an hour ago or whatever. It's not that I don't care about the story, but what sticks out for me in Boku no Hero is characters and how they're written and how they develop. So that's usually what I remember the first time I read things. But I'm just generally very happy about how the Endeaver arc turned out, because with all the bad things I saw, like all the negative opinions, I don't want to say bad opinions because like they're just opinions, but negative opinions people had, I thought the arc was great. I thought it was a really good way to like get introduced to how Endeaver works. Because it was important to have this arc, I feel like, because we know what the world looked like with All Might as the top hero, as him as the #1 hero in the symbol of peace. And to see how that inevitably changes with Endeaver, I think that was super interesting. So yeah, I thought this arc was important, and I thought it was well executed. It was a really great introduction to to Hawks as a character, because even if you were like me and didn't like him before, I think there was a very good possibility you did by the end. And it was just great for characters. I think it was a really great character-focused arc, because we're so used to following Deku and Bakugo and sometimes a few others, but those are like our main characters. And yes, I will fight you if you're gonna say that Bakugo isn't the main character. I mean, he's not Deku, but he's definitely like, I would call Bakugo more of a main character than I would like the other Straw Hat members, or Sasuke and Sakura in Naruto. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even though we don't have dual protagonists, like Bakugo is pretty much a protagonist. The only thing that makes Deku like one step up for me is because he narrates the story. But other than that, I feel like Bakugo is definitely a main character. I don't know how loud these clicks are that because now I'm at movies, and see, like, people when I was younger, people would always give me movies because I enjoyed movies, but like I'd always get like rom-coms and stuff like that, and I'm just not. I don't like romance. I'm always like, when people recommend me movies, I'm always, my first question always, is it a romance? And people are like, yeah. I'm like, I don't want to watch it. I'm not a big fan of romance as like a main genre. I think it's like nice to have shipping, and I think it's nice to have like minor side stories that are, I'm going off topic here, but I think minor side stories that are romance are much more interesting. Which is also why I usually drift towards shonen genres, because well, this is missing a DVD, because they're usually very light on the, ooh, the light just changed, very light on the romance. What the frick is this? Yeah, I don't know what else I have to talk about, and I'm almost through my DVDs now, so this might be very well timed. Let me just, okay, I think maybe I might be done. I promised a long time ago that I would do an overhaul arc review, and I started doing it, and I just never finished because everything happened. Like, I had an exam, and then this summer, you might have noticed from my video background, but I've been moving around a lot, and we finally got like a place that's ours and with me, I mean me and my friend. And we're still moving in. It's been a month, and because school started like halfway through the process of us moving, we still have like a few like things that aren't done yet, and yeah, like today we're getting a couch. So we're still very much doing things. That's why I'm slowly getting back into doing all the videos I used to do. However, I have decided what I want to do, because I don't want to abandon it. I really still want to do the overhaul arc review, but I feel like it's been so long now, it's really badly timed if I just like drop it. Since the Boku fight is technically part of the overhaul arc, I'm gonna split the reviews into two. So I'm gonna match them to the anime instead. So we have the rest of the Boku fight coming out tomorrow. I'm pretty sure that's when we're gonna get the conclusion. So I'm gonna try to upload a review of that little thing there. And then at some point, I assume we're gonna get a season 4. So when the arc is over in that, I'll try to time it there. So it's gonna be a long while, but it will also allow me to reread and rewatch the arc. And then still time it pretty much at a good place where it's not like a forgotten arc, because at that point you also have a chance to rewatch it. So that's that about that little promise that I did not keep, but do intend to keep in the future. But yeah, that's the end of my Endeaver art review, so you can like, you can comment, and you can subscribe, and until next time, bye.